Ladies, thank you for tuning in. I have a very special lady joining me today. I have Gayle. Gayle is one of my past clients who finished coaching with me in April last year. So that is more than a year ago, but 18 months ago. Is that right, Gayle?
Yeah, that's about right, Aileen. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's incredible to have Gayle here to share her journey with you. As you know, I coach busy professional women, and Gayle is just that. So, Gayle, can you tell us a wee bit about your background and your lifestyle, how that's set up?
Yeah, so I mean, fundamentally, I suppose I'm a working lady. I try and do a 3.5 day week. I've got two young kids, they're now 6 and just turned 9. And then I have a husband that works abroad on rotation. So he's away for 4 weeks at a time and then home for 4 weeks at a time. So there's a lot of juggling with kids' activities and being able to cook properly and work and work-life balance. And then I have kind of one routine when he's home and one routine when he's away. So there's quite a lot of change and flux then that kind of comes into that kind of lifestyle. So yeah,
There's
it's a
a lot of things going on.
yeah, a lot of things going on.
You first approached me a considerable time ago. Can you tell me about what life was like before you started coaching at TDL?
Yeah, so I would say life was quite manic. I had a slightly different job where I was probably a bit more able to manage my work-life balance at that point in time. But I'd kind of tried a number of weight loss things, and I kind of, I'd been successful, but then I'd put it back on again, So I'd kind of been that yo-yo dieter, and to be honest, I've probably been like that since I was in my teens, So you kind of lose it, it stays off for a couple of months, and then it goes back on again. So I'd had feedback from a few friends who'd had feedback from their friends, about that when people had been with you, that they then maintained it. So once the weight was off, they maintained it. And initially it was, I guess, as you know, it was about weight loss, but then obviously turned much more into lifestyle coaching. So
For sure. So when people had said that they lost weight and they maintained it after they'd been at TDL, did you think that was even possible?
I think I'm not sure. I think because I understood how you did it, or the feedback I was getting was it was about mindset and changing that mindset as opposed to changing how you eat for a period of time and then going back to normal, as as we say it is. Then that was something I was very interested in. And also, I guess, having the kids and at their age, I was extremely mindful about, or conscious I should say, about making sure I set them up for the right habits. So that was probably what prompted me more. So there was my health part of it, but equally I wanted to make sure that I wasn't imparting bad habits on my kids. And nutritionally, I was not aware, not sure of whether I was feeding them well, I suppose. So yeah, so that was kind of that part of it. And that was that was the kind of main drivers for me at the time. So.
Amazing. So what results have you had since you started at TDL? What's changed for you?
Well, there's a lot changed. So I suppose the first thing would be that the weight loss happened. Very thing I liked, and perhaps I should have said this earlier, the thing that I liked most about dealing with your self-healing was that it was a bespoke program. So it was about very much what I wanted to eat, what me and the kids ate. So it was to try and make something that wasn't too dramatically different. It fitted in kind of with our lifestyle, but equally how to improve on that. And I think I've forgotten your question because I've been yes, all I achieved. So so I've achieved I think I've achieved certainly over 10 kilos in weight loss. And that was probably over a period of maybe 8 months, or thereabouts. And then what I've then done is maintain that over a period of over a year. And that for me is a big thing. And I guess in that time scaling July last year, I changed jobs. It got a lot more stressful. I got promoted and I had a lot more responsibility. And then we kind of, as you know, went very much more into lifestyle coaching and very much around focusing on my sleep, my stress, because fundamentally for me, that, and I guess for a lot of people, that's what then impacts what you eat. You know what I mean? And it impacts your cravings, and it's all, you can't do it in isolation. You know what I mean? You have to do it. You have to focus on what's most important. And the reality, I think, that I found with being with you is that the most important thing for me is actually my sleep. My second most important thing is my stress. And then what I find is when they're under control, then actually my nutrition kind of happens and the maintenance just kind of happens. I don't have the same cravings. I don't need to have a lot of willpower. I suppose that's maybe how I see it. But over that period, so we were together for 72 weeks, I think it was. It was a lot. It was a long time, but it takes a long time to create a habit. Do you know what I mean? And I think that has been the biggest benefit for me, is having that longevity with you, and that weekly coaching. And it's a big difference for me and the kids, and and the family. So a huge amount has changed. And then, as you know, I guess back in July this year, I was extremely stressed, and I joined the Mindset for Weight Loss with Raylene, and that's again been another step that's really helped me, because I was probably extremely stressed at that point. So yeah,
for sure. So I'm just going to bring it back to exactly what you said, and the sun is getting in my eyes now. Can you see that here? Sorry about that. What you said was, when your sleep is well controlled and when your stress is well controlled, your nutrition just falls into line.
Yeah.
This is what I've noticed over the last 3 years that I've been coaching busy professional women. Is it's not that you need a personal trainer. It's not that you need another food plan. It's you need to manage life's obstacles in order to get the benefit from the exercise and the recipes or the nutrition plan. Because if you give those things alone without addressing life, the bits that are tripping you up, then nobody's going to make progress. And this is when we realize that we need a resource to support ladies with these things over and above the coaching that I do. Because as you know, I do an awful lot of coaching around lifestyle and lifestyle management and sleep and stress. But there's only so far that I can take it, and we needed a bespoke resource. So I worked with Nicola, who's a health psychologist, and we developed a series of webinars. And the Mindset for Weight Loss course is supported by Raylene, who's our psychological therapist. And you've gone through the whole Mindset for Weight Loss course. Tell us your experience with where life was at the start compared to what life is like now.
So I think the huge advantage for me is, as I say, the kind of time that I'd been out of TDL for about 15 months, and my maintenance, like in terms of my weight loss, was actually okay. I'd always had that kind of final 2-3 kilos that I wanted to lose that seemed very elusive. And I guess, but what I did find is obviously that, as I just mentioned, my stress levels had been going up, and then, my sleep had been affected, and then you kind of start that cycle. And I'd still managed to maintain my weight loss, but I hadn't felt as good, obviously, about myself. And when I first spoke with Raylene, I think it really hit home, to be honest, how bad things were. So, Raylene is really good at kind of, making you realize, how things are and how your life is and how your life should be. So I worked a lot with Raylene on that, and kind of getting back to where I was, and much more focusing again on that sleep and stress, and as it was, then I did start actually to lose weight, which was kind of not actually probably why I went into it, if you know what I mean. I'd always wanted to kind of, if you've done a behavioural program, the mindset program, I'd always wanted to come and do it, because that's where I see is the change, it is the benefit, over time. So the weekly topics are great. The thing I guess I know, it takes a while to implement a habit. So it's something that I'm grateful that I'll have that resource going forward, you know, because I will go back and I will look at them, because I don't want to change too much too quickly. And as you know, obviously that's been one of the things with yourself. It's about making sure that you do a little bit at a time. You know, if you change everything at once, you're totally going to fail. You know, it's about taking baby steps and just implementing one thing and wait till it's embedded and then implement the next thing, you know. So that to me has been great. And Rayleen's very much like you know, you get that both positive enforcement and encouragement, but equally that insightfulness into yourself, you know, that allows you to come up with a plan that works for you, you know, and being, you know, a mental health nurse like she is, then, you know, it really was so useful for me in understanding, you know, just be more insightful to yourself and your mind and how it all works together, you know. So does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's amazing just to get that, you know, from your perspective, because I know what my vision was for developing the course and what I wanted the ladies to achieve from it, but we can't assess that until we put people through it and try it out. So you lost a bit of weight while you were on the course, although that wasn't the primary goal. The primary goal
Yeah.
was to change jobs. I'm really stressed. I'm working a lot more than these 3 days a week that I'm contracted to do. It's impacting on family time. It's impacting on my sleep. What is life like now after doing Mindset for Weight Loss? What have you achieved?
I'm kind of back to that, or almost, I'm not going to say I'm fully back to, but I'm back to the good balance, I suppose. You know, there's still times when it's a lot more challenging, but I think having someone independent and on the outside saying, do you know what, life shouldn't be like that. Life should be, you know, you should feel happy and you should, you know, not be stressed, and, you know, you need to take control. And how do you take control back? You know what I mean? And really wasn't coming up with the answers, really was just asking the questions, you know. And I think that's the key, because you've got to come up with the things that work for you. But I was hearing it from my husband, and, you know, I was hearing it from colleagues at work, you know, you need to not be working on your days off. And I'm like, well, I get that, but I don't know how not to do that, you know what I mean? So it was because life was just so manic, and then I just kind of took that call with Raylene. So it really was a kind of a wake up call for me, you know what I mean? And I was in tears, and I, you know, and I was quite upset. So it was tough, but it was really good. And 3 calls later, and there were no tears. So.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Gayle. So the Mindset for Weight Loss course is obviously an investment. And what I find with ladies who are busy professional women, you're so good at doing everything, or you wouldn't be in the career that you're in, or climbed the ladder that you have, or achieved all the things in life that you did. And sometimes ladies can feel vulnerable, needing that extra bit of help and support, because everything else you do, you achieve. So why can't you just do this bit? Can you reflect on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's so valuable. And I guess one of the reasons I was with you for so long was because you were my kind of, you know, you were my go-to, you know, my independent kind of thing, and my, you know, the one that could kind of hold the mirror up, and you know, and that's what Raylene does, you know what I mean? So it's there's times when you need help, and when you need help, it's perfectly okay. And in fact, you should probably ask for help before you get to the stage I got to. So it's, you know, when you look at how you're like, how life was a couple of months ago, a few months ago, and how life is now, you know, it's chalk and cheese. And, you know, there's still days that are struggles and there's still challenges, you know, but fundamentally I'm much happier and much less stressed at the end of the day. I'm focusing back on my sleep again, you know, I'm focusing on my work-life balance. And I've probably gone a bit kind of, you know, you can only do so much at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that kind of a mindset is also helpful for me, you know. So yeah.
And how confident are you, if 10 is ultra confident and 0 is no, I'm definitely going to fall flat on my face? how confident are you that you now have the skills and tools to implement these things into your life and maintain this balance that you've achieved?
I'm probably between a 7 and an 8, and I think it's more that I'm not higher because um, I I know what next year is going to be like at work. Bless you. so so yeah, I know what next year is going to be like at work, but equally, I mean, a 7 or 8 is probably quite good for me. And I guess it's what I, the good thing about kind of getting to the stage where I was that you almost, and it's a bit like the weight loss thing, you need to fail to know what to do to make it better. And therefore, a failure is actually a good thing, because then it's like, right, the thing, when things go wrong, the thing I need to focus on most for me is get your sleep under control. Get your sleep under control, then get your stress, levels down a little bit, because when you've got your sleep under control, you can cope with more stress. You can, it's all related, and I think for me, that's it. I will have slip ups and stuff, but I'm still amazed that kind of a year and a half probably since I officially stopped TDL, if you know what I mean, that, I'm still, my weight loss is still there. Do you know what I mean? And even now I still get comments, you look great, you must be losing loads of weight. And I'm like, well, I haven't lost any weight for over a year, but so it's still so nice to get those comments and that feedback, and it gives you a bit of a boost, so, but yeah.
And the other thing I want to ask about is, doing TDL and working with me is obviously an investment, a financial investment. So then to go on and then do the course is another financial investment.
Yes.
And sometimes for ladies that can be a big obstacle, because investing in yourself is very, very different from, paying towards your mortgage or your house, or your mortgage and your house are the same things, or your car, all these other things that we just do anyway. And sometimes it's having the courage to think, well, I'm good enough and I need this, and this is about my health.
Yes.
What would you say about that?
You do have to invest in yourself. So that side of it, I don't, you have to do that. Do you know what I mean? It's, when you look at how better your life can be if you get these things under control and you get the help to do that, that's kind of priceless, if that makes sense. Quality of life is important, so.
If you were doing TDL just now and you just done 12 weeks and you were in the situation where you were and you're sitting on the fence about whether or not to do mindset for weight loss, you're not really sure what it involves, you've never met Raylene before, you're committing to something with someone you've never spoken to, what would your advice be?
I think Raylene compliments you immensely. I think it's my house phone is now going, so just ignore the noise. I think you'll get the sort of same level of support. It's not every week, so there's that kind of assessment to make, but it is extremely useful. And I think you still get that one-to-one coaching, you still get that it's still focusing, but I guess it's trying to give you more responsibility, but with the support, but not as much as support, so that you start to learn to do it for yourself, if that makes sense. But for me, I know I need help with these things. I know I can't do them myself. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I love Raylene, by the way. So she's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I certainly wouldn't hesitate for recommending Raylene at all. So yeah, she's great. So and she really does give that. It's nice to have someone that is very like you, but equally has their own different take on it. You know what I mean? So it complements it. That's it. So
yeah. So Raylene is I'd agree, a huge asset to TDL.
Yeah.
And we're absolutely thrilled to have her as part of our team supporting our ladies. we've also listened to the feedback you've said. We've implemented a check-in form for the Mindset
Yeah,
for Weight Loss course.
which is great. Yeah.
And we've increased the consultations to fortnightly, so you're getting double the consultations. So that's really helpful. But Gayle, thank you so much for your time and for sharing this with the ladies.
You're welcome.
And awesome just to reflect back on where you were, where you are, and I'm just so excited for the future.
Yeah, no, thank you. And it's been, you know, it has been a long journey. Do you know what I mean? But it's great. And it's, you know, for me, you know, the fact that I've maintained it, my lifestyle, and I think that's the kind of thing that a lot of people don't get, you know, when you first start something like TDL, or, you know, you're focusing on weight loss, but it's so much more than that. You know, it is much more around your lifestyle and how that then impacts it. And that's kind of what the Mindset for Weight Loss talks a lot more about, you know, about why we do things and the simple, you know, things that we can change to help us, you know, maintain or continue our weight loss, you know. So, no, it's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.